All right, let's talk about the big one. What is the right age to get married? I mean, it's a question we all get, right? From family, from friends, or just that little voice inside our own heads. The pressure is definitely real. But is there some kind of magic number? Let's dive in and see if we can figure this thing out. So, seriously, what is the right age? It feels like there's this invisible deadline that everyone's racing towards. But what if the answer isn't a number at all? What if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? Here's the core idea right up front. The answer isn't about how old you are. It's about what stage of life you're in. And you know what? That simple shift in how you think about it, well, it changes absolutely everything. That's what we're going to break down today. Okay, so let's officially reframe this whole conversation. Instead of asking what age, we're going to ask what stage. This moves the focus away from some external pressure and puts it right back where it belongs, on your own personal readiness. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have age. It's just a number, right? It's all tied up in societal pressure, the biological clock, all that external noise. But stage, that's something way deeper. That's about where you are on your personal journey, your career, your finances, and just how much you've grown as a person. So, okay, if stage is the answer, how in the world do you know if you're at the right one? Well, it all breaks down into three key pillars. Think of these as the foundation for a really strong, lasting marriage. And here they are. Number one, your career and personal goals. Number two, financial independence. And number three, mental and emotional maturity. Let's dig into what each of these really means. So this first pillar is all about you and what you want to achieve. The idea is to get to a point where you feel a real sense of accomplishment on your own. And why is that so important? Well, because if you feel like you sacrificed your own dreams for a relationship, you might end up resenting your partner for it down the road. It's about being secure in your own path first. This quote just hits the nail on the head. Marriage isn't just about love, it's about having the capacity to give someone your time and energy without feeling like you're losing a part of yourself. When you can genuinely offer that, you know you're on the right track. All right, let's talk about pillar number two, money. I know, it's not the most romantic topic, but it is so practical. Being financially independent doesn't just mean you can pay your own bills. It means you're ready to be a true partner, someone who can contribute to the team and handle all the shared financial stuff that comes with building a life together. You've got to be a financial teammate. And finally, pillar number three, mental and emotional maturity. Honestly, this might be the biggest one of all. Are you really ready to shift from thinking about I to thinking about we? Because marriage is just one long series of compromises and adjustments. It's about understanding that someone else's needs and happiness are now a huge part of your decision-making. If that sounds like a burden, well, you're probably not there yet. Okay, so we've got our three pillars: career, finances, and maturity. Now let's apply this framework to those different age brackets everyone talks about. And remember, these are not hard and fast rules. They're just common patterns. So here's kind of a quick look at the journey. Your early 20s, that's really a time for exploration. Then, from your mid to late 20s, you're usually more focused on your career and just plain growing up. As you get closer to 30, that's when the pressure cooker starts to build, which leads into a whole new phase with different things to consider. First up, those early 20s. I mean, think about it. You're usually just starting out in your career, financial stability feels like a distant dream, and you're still figuring out who you even are. It just makes sense that getting married this young can be pretty risky. Those three pillars we talked about, the foundation just hasn't really been built yet. Now, let's look at the 23 to 28 range. A lot of people call this the ideal window. And why is that? Well, it's often when you're really starting to hit your stride at work, you're getting a handle on your finances, and you've just lived a little more. You have a much better sense of who you are and what you actually want in a life partner. So what happens when you hit 29 to 32? Welcome to the pressure cooker. This is when the heat gets turned way up. Family starts asking about grandkids, all your friends seem to be getting engaged, and for women in particular, that whole family planning conversation can create this massive sense of urgency that might just push you to ignore whether you're personally ready. And after 33, the conversation tends to shift again to more practical things. For women, there can be more health factors to consider when it comes to having kids. For men, marrying later might mean a pretty significant age gap with a partner, which brings its own unique dynamics. These aren't roadblocks, they're just new factors to navigate on the journey. So after going through all of these different stages and pillars, what does it all really boil down to? It's simple, really. This is your journey, and it happens on your timeline. You know, the vlogger we're drawing from for this explainer shared her own story, and it really drives this point home. She got married in that so-called ideal window, but, and this is the important part, it was only after she felt she'd achieved her own personal and career goals. For her, that was the proof that her stage was right, not just her age. So here it is, the main takeaway. The right time to get married has nothing to do with a number. It's that moment when you feel solid in your career, stable with your finances, and mature enough to compromise and build a life with somebody else. It's when you are ready, period. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. When you look at your own life and your future, are you focused on the number on the calendar, or are you focused on building those pillars that are going to support a real, lasting partnership? Are you looking at your age or your stage? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.